Hello and welcome to Poly-innovator. So this is the 9th Now Page vlog, which this is a series I made to give you an update what's happening now in my life. And considering personal brand is both personal and professional for me, it kind of comes hand to hand, which normally people kind of keep it separate. It's just an update what's going on personally and professionally, and for me it's both. And so when I created these vlogs, I try to make it as lively as I can, but for the most part, it's just giving you the chance to hear what's going on in my life and to see what's going on that you can keep an eye out for. Because I think there's a lot of great content that's going to come out this year, and if you can get a heads up by watching this first, that's going to be really awesome. So, the first thing is, I've always been trying to be honest in these videos and these blog posts that I make, and I think that's a key component of making these videos work. Because if I can be honest, even if it's a little bit more personal, like saying something about bills or something like that, like I will later, it's one of those things that you'll feel more connected to me, and that's what I want. I want these videos to build a connection between us. Or in the future, if I'm 80 years old and I want to look back on my life, I can watch these videos and read these blog posts and kind of get a feeling as to what was happening this year. And it might even help too with this previews and reviews of years. So something I want to do is a yearly review. Watching these videos, reading these posts will be a great way of seeing what happened, did I make progress, and I'm already seeing that in the last few posts from this year. And so what am I doing right now? Right now, I'm talking to you, but in actuality, I've been trying to avoid burnout. Late last year, I was like, I have too many interviews. I need to get these out. I'm going to try to do nearly one a day. And I got really close to doing it once a day. But editing an hour and a half long video, which that's the average. Sometimes they're 2 hours, sometimes they're 1 hour. But for the most part, they're an hour and a half or hour and 40 minutes. And that's great. That's what I want. That's why I love doing these videos. Shut up, phone. That's the thing. I want these videos to be as long as they need to be. I take the Joe Rogan, Tom Bilyeu approach where just the essence of that video, the meat of it, doesn't happen until 40 minutes in anyways. That's why all the questions that I ask, what is polymath to you, happen like 40-50 minutes into the episode, because that's when the meat of it goes. And it's interesting too, because towards the end of December, like the second week of December, I was like starting to burn out. I'm like, I can feel the approach. And I realized something this year that I didn't realize last year. That for one, I always know that winter time's the hardest for me, and as I've gotten older, I've been able to prepare for that better and better, but I'm still not great at it. I wish I could just leave the cold and go somewhere nice and warm for these seasons. But I've been donating blood for the past year and a half, which I don't know if I should be saying on a public forum or not, but it's just something I wanted to do because I can help people with that, and considering the virus, it's very helpful for a lot of people. Oh my gosh, I'm going to turn this off. And the thing is, I didn't realize how much energy and fatigue how little energy and how much fatigue I get from donating. Like, obviously you're getting rid of your life essence, your source for life and moving your body, and the lack of iron, the lack of nutrients. And so I started feeling like out of energy. And so this year I noticed it even more so. I was like, wait a minute, it's because I'm donating. So I'm going to take a break from that, and I think that'll help boost my energy a bit more as well. Hopefully I just didn't peak my mic there. And so between that and just taking the write-off period at the end of the year, I think that it's going to help me get my energy back, because I took those 2 weeks off at the end of the year, and I was really mad at myself because I wanted to keep going. I had this 40 days of Polycast that I was trying to do, and I realized that saved me. Like, I would have been way worse off had I actually finished doing those 40 days, which I did close to it. I was like halfway through November when I decided to do it, or most way through November, and I lasted at least 3 or 4 weeks. So it was about a month worth of stuff. 40 days, it's good. I'm proud that I was able to get a lot of those episodes out. Ironically, I had to re-upload a lot of them when I found out that the interviews were uploaded at 240p, which is unacceptable. I do 1080, try to do as high as frames per second as I can, but you can't really adjust those too much because it'll make the video weird. But I try to go for 30 FPS, which is ideal, if not 60, if I can. And so the idea behind a lot of those is just getting those interviews out so people can see them. They're amazing interviews. These people that come on are fantastic. And I keep saying those words, amazing and fantastic. And people think, oh, he's just kind of promoting or just kind of saying it. No, seriously, every single interview, every single one, even the one that I didn't think would be that good, was really good. And there was only been one that I thought, like, oh, this is not what I expected. And guess what? it was better than what I thought it was going to be. So that's awesome. And so I've never had any doubt in any of my interviews, even if it was late, even if we had a hard time scheduling, even if we had issues, every time it was worth it. And so I've always tried to stay very patient with everything. And I'm already 5 minutes in. I try to keep these under 10 minutes, but I guess we'll keep going because there's a lot to go over because these past few months have been crazy. And as I've said in the recent now page is, I've been working a lot on my website, and now Ghost has updated, so I might have to work on it some more to get it to work, because the new features of the new site system is really interesting to me. I've always been a power user, but I'm going to try to make sure I go for functionality first rather than new features. But it doesn't seem like it'd be too much to edit the theme to get it to work with the new 4.0. Other than that, though, over the past few months, I've been able to revamp like 180 blog posts and make another 20 or so. Like, I think I'm around 190 on my sites, and when I say make, I haven't released all of those yet. And so I have around 6 that I still want to finish. I said that last month too, but I've just been busy with all these interviews. I realized I started kind of not slowing down, because I went back to doing once a week at the start of the year, and it just wasn't good enough. I think 2 a week is probably the ideal rate in order to stay somewhat ahead. And so I still have another 20 or so out that need to come out. And some of them are like really interesting too, because like I have people who incorporate the arts and the science, and really well. Brain's dead. But I want to get those interviews out, and I think that by doing 2 to 3 a week, even though it's been hard on me, it's been my main focus, the content-wise. Like, just getting one interview edited, let alone released, has been really difficult for me. But what motivates me is the amazing guests and the accountability to them, and that's one reason why the interviews have come out and the Polycast have come out, but not the Omni content. And speaking of Omni content, I've been doing dramatic, monumental changes to my Notion operating system that I've been building out, and that's a good thing. I needed to simplify it in some ways, but also advance it more. So instead of having multiple pages for different silos of content, which is something I was avoiding in the first place when it came to Notion, but eventually with series like this, or a series like my micro Polycast, I eventually started siloing out, again, my content. The Omni content I created to just be my content. Like, everything I make, I wanted to go through the Omni content views or lens or series. And I realized that calling it the Omni content series is not the best way of going about it, because there's going to be many mini series in it, and it's not like they're episodic in nature. You don't have to watch the first 5 to know what the 50th is going to be about. And so I kind of took off the idea of a series, and I'll go back and probably take off the numbers as well, just because I created a series it as a series in order to systematize the getting out of that content, and that way I could try to expedite the ideas that I want to share with the world, because I have a lot of amazing Omni content ideas, including a multidisciplinary spectrum that I've been trying to get out for a long time, that I want to share with the world. And I was like, okay, this is the best way for me to go about this, and I could just create a long list, approach it the same way each time, and get these stuff out, especially in multiple formats, which was really key to me. And I realized too that the Omni content wasn't just a sprints or series. It was also a way of thinking about how to organize every piece of content. So I consolidated the video, audio, and written series that weren't Omni content into a new database. And that's what I've been working off of. In fact, I'm looking at the Now page in that database that I had made for myself, and the way it's connected with other databases, the linked database and relations and rollups, allow me to have an interconnected system. For example, for the Omni content sprints, I was able to connect a database for LinkedIn articles. So even though the articles that might not be related to that Omni content episode, I wanted to have a habit stack. Sometimes they are though too. And so that way I could, when I'm working on the sprints, I can create a LinkedIn article too, which helps me get those done, at least when I do the Omni content. And so it's really cool trying to take advantage of habit stacking, cross-posting, repurposing, and just keeping in mind that each thing can flow into the next. And that's what I've been trying to work on. That's why it makes me really excited about it. And so I'm going to move on here because I'm running out of time, but I don't really care how long these are, I guess. It's a matter of just updating, and I have a lot to update you about. And so beyond that, I also had to get back in shape. And so it's not that I'm weak by any means, but I definitely gained a little bit of fat that I'm not ideal about, and that's because I dirty bulked. And so I'm honest about that because I know I made not really a mistake, but more along those lines of those choices. I ate more improperly over the quarantine, and I also did not work out as extreme as I once did, partially because I didn't have access to the stuff that I needed to, like heavier weights or something like that, because before the quarantine is when I switched up my workout to be more heavier set rather than lightweight high reps, which is what I've been doing for a decade now. And so last night even, I did a workout where I did 100 curls with 45 pounds and 100 squats with 100 pounds, which, granted, still kind of medium weight, nothing too heavy. Like, it's not my max, it's not my lightest, but it definitely hurts, and it definitely made a progress. And so that's the thing. I just want to keep building that back out and prove to people that you can burn off fat and you can build muscle and you can pursue your goals. And I think this is going to be motivating for a lot of my classes. What's coming up? Well, like I said, I'm reworking the Omni content, so ideally I'll get those Omni content sprints out again. And I've been making the site. Go check out the site. Please, go check out the site. It's amazing. I'm so happy about it, because after literally 24 versions of the United Living Construct and PolyInnovator sites that I've gone through, because I count them kind of as the same journey, I've built so many websites in my life. And this is literally the best one. It's simple, it's modern, it's quick, like way quicker than I could ever do with WordPress. And it has all of my content on there. I've been trying to just push as much content out on there so you can just go in and explore. That's what I want to do. I want you to indulge in that curiosity. You find one, you go in it. Pro tip. Click a blog post. I might make a link that's here, make it easier for you, but click a blog post, look at the author part, click on my name, and you'll see all of my posts, which is way better than just looking on the Omni blog page, which will have most of the posts. For some reason, I couldn't get the loop to work on that page, so it doesn't actually load in all of them. It might lead to another page if you click next. I'm not sure of the pagination, but that way you can see everything at once. Other than that, I will be trying to work on the transcriptions and takeaways of every interview. So I've been looking at different tools, Type Studio, GetSpread, Content Fries, Repurposed.io again, just looking at all these different tools and trying to see what would work for me. Problem is, since I go for high quality, and that's something I always strive for, the size of my videos are multiple gigs usually. And so most of these tools have a 1, maybe 2, in rare cases, gigabyte limit. So I can't actually even upload most of my interviews to get them transcribed or to get them to be content repurposed to clips. And it's not easy to chop them up either on my computer and then upload it that way. The other thing is not the size, but the length. Sometimes the lengths are too long. So they're either a 1 hour or 2 hour limit. And like I said, some of my episodes are a little bit over 2 hours even. The Millennial Money Woman came into mind for that one. That one was like 2 hours and 5 minutes, which was surprisingly difficult to repurpose, but it's worth it. And then the other thing is, I've been on around 50 shows, and I want those episodes to come out. So if I've been on your show and our episode hasn't released yet, please get on it. I'm very patient. I will not rush you or anything like that, but I really want those episodes out and I can share them with my audience and that kind of thing, because there's been a lot of topics I've talked about on shows that I haven't talked about on my show too much. And so I thought that's a way for people to get new ideas, see your content, and I'll put it on my page, on my site. I have a page for every show I've been on that's been released. I put it on there. And other than that, there's a lot of awesome stuff to come. I'm really excited about all of this. And I say that every month, but it's true. Like, no matter how tired I get, like right now I'm physically exhausted. And mentally I'm awake because I ate and had coffee, so I'm happy. And I'm also kind of getting a high from doing these videos too, because I love doing vlogging, I love talking on camera, I love writing, I love creating content. This one thing is like, I think this is my ikigai in a way. The world needs new information when it comes to polymathy or Notion or other topics I could share my knowledge on. I can do this for income at some point in the future. I enjoy doing it, and it leads me to doing more of my why. Like, what am I passionate about? Well, I'm passionate about helping people. I'm passionate about the world becoming a type 1 civilization. I'm passionate about sharing my knowledge and also just pushing knowledge forward and innovating certain fields. Like polymathy itself, I think, needs to be innovated. And there's some people who are still attached to the old ways of thinking about polymathy. But we need to be poly-innovators in a way and innovating the way we approach multidisciplinary lifestyles. And I haven't really said that before. But if you're watching this and you're hearing me, take that to heart, because I think that's a great way of approaching PolyInnovator as an essence and like thinking about my brand, my personal brand, and why I'm doing this. It is my ikigai. And that makes me happy, and I hope that makes you happy too. Thank you. Dustin Miller, PolyInnovator.